when we heal from our past, then there's more of us that's available and accessible for.
Welcome back to Fishing Without Bait, a lifetime without definitive expectations, where we're going to continue our conversation with our delightful, energetic, imaginative, creative guest, Santina Grace.
Kid called Old Maid. Guess what? That's you. And I was like, And so I went, okay, fair. And I was like, but guess what Old Maid can do today? Old Maid can go to the spa and get a facial and do all this pampering because there's nobody else around but me. And so I was like, thank you for that reminder that I can take care of myself today. And so when you learn how to like twist that kind of knife and like figure out how to like dislodge it, and then it just kind of it heals you because you're like, okay, great, thanks for pointing out that I have been neglecting myself lately.
Well, we want to help people understand and teach them how to talk to themselves as if they would talk to a friend.
Right.
Because no matter how critical, that's a hurt voice inside you.
You have to be careful which friend you're talking about, though.
Well, we do an exercise sometimes about meeting your future self.
Right.
And when we're walking, let's say we're walking along a beach by ourselves, we're feeling the breeze blow across our faces. We feel the warm sand in our toes, and it's a lovely day. And up ahead, we see a person coming, and when they get closer, we begin to realize that's your future self. And that future self comes up to you and hugs you and says, I love you. Thank you for making me the person I am today.
Yeah.
So what I help people do, I help people write a letter to their future selves.
Oh, that's a really great idea. I'd write a letter and say, what should I be working on right now? And I'd almost want to not write a letter, but have it be like a two-way.
Have your future self write a letter to you and
say,
here's what you're doing now that made me the person.
That's actually a really great exercise to think about, like, and even potentially a meditative practice for people, because they could write, dear future me, what should I be doing now? What are the things you want me to know? Blah, blah, blah. And then put yourself, almost like imagine yourself 20 years in the future, or whenever it might be, and then responding to that letter. I don't know. It would start out as fiction, but it might end up being something that could be truly, directional and life-changing.
Usually what I do, I'll have a person write a letter from their future selves to themselves, and then I'll hold it for 6 months and then mail it to them. I won't even read it.
Okay.
I'll have them seal it. I'll have them address it to themselves with their return addresses to themselves. And then 6 months later, I'll mail it to them.
Yeah. It has me questioning too, like, what would I have said? Like, have you ever had that thought process of like, what would you say to younger you? I mean, I don't think I would change much, because it's like I said earlier, you have to go through what you went through to be the person that you are, and I wouldn't want to change that.
Everyone's a product of their past.
Yeah.
And it's up to a person to choose whether to become a victim of that past or not.
That's true. Even the dumb mistakes, I would still let myself make them. I just would.
Nobody learns anything by success.
That's right. That's true.
We learn from failure.
You know what? I actually do really agree with that. I always say the people who are winning at life are having the hardest time because they are learning the most. They're learning the most, People who come in this life and, maybe they have no struggles and never have any problems. I don't know these people, but maybe they exist. I just think, well, what could you possibly be learning here? Like, what if life just went your way every single day and you got everything you ever wished for? How boring would that be? How disappointing. It would be disappointing to just get all the things. You have to learn how to not get the things that you want and how to figure out how to navigate that, I just think that there's so much more growth in Santa not showing up and giving you what you ask for, There just is.
Well, sure, that's correct. I often use the analogy, if a baseball team won every game, sooner or later, people, but not too long, people would stop showing up to watch the games, and actually the players would lose interest in it themselves.
Yeah.
There was a Twilight Zone a long time ago that this person died, and they were in this place, and everything turned out exactly correctly for them.
Mm,
They always won.
mm,
If they played cards, they won. They always got the most beautiful partner. Everything
mhm.
turned out right. Everything just went right. And then after a while, a person came back and says, "How do you like it here?" And he goes, "I don't like it at all." He's there. There's no challenge. There's nothing. He's there. "I didn't think heaven was going to be like this." And he looked at him and he says, "What makes you think you're in heaven?"
I'm not saying like, oh, bring on all the terrible stuff so I can learn all of it. I'm not trying to like manifest or create that for myself, but I do feel like we've all lived through kind of moments in our life, and the most growth happens in the hardest of times. We learn who we are, right?
Well, I often suggest to people we go much through our hardest times. I says, but don't volunteer for it.
That's right. I'm not trying to volunteer. But like, I don't know. And I even feel like, you can walk alongside others who are going through some difficult times and learn from them along the way and just walk alongside them.
We were talking to our producer earlier about video games.
Mhm.
So I talked to people about video games and I said, okay. I said, when you play the game and you gain experience points. And when you gain experience points, what happens? And they say, well, you level up. And I said, well, what happens when you level up? Well, you gain more knowledge and you gain more skills. I said, so in order to gain more knowledge and skills, you have to have what? And they say, you have to have experience points. And I said, how do you get experience points? They said, by playing the game.
That's right. Yeah, and once again, we're back to the things that you experience, the connections you have, they can never be taken from you. And so the more you level up, the more, things, experiences, skills, um, weapons, whatever it might be in your game, that your toolbox, you just collect those tools and you have more at your disposal to navigate it.
Some people will say to me, you know what, Jim, things don't matter as much to me as they used to. And I said, you're figuring things out.
Yeah, that's about right.
You're figuring it out.
That is about right. And I think too, that's another critical key to finding your joy in this chaotic world is to kind of getting to a place of like it'll work itself out, It'll right it's almost like the ship will right itself again. And understanding, I don't know, I'm going into like the sailboat world now, but it's kind of like you have to weather some storms, and sometimes you just batten down the hatches, you wait for time to pass, and things become a little bit more stable and a little bit more certain again.
Or you always don't have strong, beautiful breezes blowing
Mhm.
at your back. Sometimes it's coming
Right
at
in
you.
your face.
And then I say, well, what do sailors do? And they say, well, we adjust our sails.
Mm.
We tack.
Yeah, that's true.
We
Right.
adjust our sails.
Yeah.
That's that's correct. And I help people level up in life. Level up.
Yeah. I mean, truly, that's all you really can do. Um, just to kind of, I don't know, in uncertainty, it's kind of like one of those sayings where they say the only thing that is certain is uncertainty, and you can find peace in that.
Oh, hi, Jim Ellermeyer back again from Fishing Without Bait. And as we offer and express transparency, this is a shameless plug for a book that we are selling. This is a 365-day calendar where we have a Zen type of picture to draw with a caption, and then we ask some thoughtful questions that people can answers, such as, what are your general thoughts about the quote? What is the morning thought in the morning? What is your evening thought? And what will you do tomorrow to spread kindness? Okay? And the beauty of this is that it's not numbered. You can pick any page out. It's not numbered. You can pick any day out and pick any quote out you want, or not. So what we're doing, we're asking people to use this as some type of a mindfulness activity to start their day. When we start our day, not trying to race through the day or with anxiety, but rather maybe some introspective self-talk, some internal validation. And what we're doing here is this. Also, what we'd like to do, we're going to be offering some Patreon material, maybe some behind the themes things, or some of the podcasts that we've done where we take a deeper dive. And we'd like to get your thoughts on that. What would you like to see? Are there any podcasts that we've done where you would like us to do a deeper dive? So you can please contact the show, and we'd be glad to explore that. And as always, we're looking for stories of recovery. Everybody's in recovery from something. We like to know how you got here from there. And please be good to yourself. And yes, this is a shameless plug. The only constant about life is change.
Yeah.
And acceptance. So I always talk to people about acceptance is always the prelude to change. Always, always, always.
Mm-hmm.
Until you can accept something, like when we were talking about grief.
Mm-hmm.
Until we can accept that grief, then we can't deal with it.
That's true. Yeah.
That's what Dr. Chaudhary always used to talk about. Rather than push pain away, rather than push grief away, you embrace it because it's part of you.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've been working with some of the people that I work with in doing is we've been practicing kind of like going in our mind and journeying back to these experiences that we have, ones that aren't pleasant experiences, ones that really damaged us and still have damage that's evident within our psyche in some way, whether it be mentally or blockages in ways that we feel or something like that. What I'll actually have them do is use their imagination, use their mind, use their intuition to travel back there and watch the situation from an observer's perspective and to watch it unfold. And as they watch it unfold, I'm a real proponent of breath work. And so I'll oftentimes say, like, as you're feeling like tightness or anything physically in your body or anything emotionally that you're starting to feel as you're kind of observing this in your mind's eye, breathe. And I instruct people to breathe all the way in from their feet. So I have this exercise where I tell people, I'm a tree person. So I say, imagine that you have roots that are underneath your feet that go deep, deep down into the earth. And so then when you inhale, I want you to imagine that these roots are a straw and that you breathe and you inhale this all the way up through your trunk, all the way up to the tippiest top branches of your tree, and just hold that breath there. And then exhale down and allowing all that breath just to go all the way back down, regenerate into Mother Earth. She takes anything we don't need. And a lot of times if people don't resonate with, the tree image, I'll say it's like an Etch-A-Sketch. As an empath, we kind of this negative energy and the energy of this chaotic world can sometimes get stuck to us like static, like static cling. And it's like throughout the day, we may have accumulated all of this gunk that really, it's not ours to own, but we're feeling it in some way. And so there's nothing to do but then to just surrender to the breathing. And that's what I will tell people to do. Just inhale all the way up, exhale all the way down. And I kind of say it's like an Etch-A-Sketch. And like if you were ever had an Etch-A-Sketch as a kid, there was that little wiper thing that went and it just wiped all those little metallic crystals off of the screen. And so that's kind of how I envision that kind of we can let go of that energy that has stuck on us that isn't ours to hold or to carry. And so those are a couple like techniques that we use on how to heal trauma, because when we heal from our past, then there's more of us that's available and accessible for these choice points and for being alive in the moment. And then we have a full understanding of like how we navigate who we are because we're feeling all the parts of ourselves, not just the ones that aren't broken.
I so much enjoy you talking about choice points.
Yeah, thank you. I really I could go talk about that all the time.
Well, so we often use the same type of breathing techniques to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And I usually have them pick out 2 words. And if they can't pick out a word, first of all, I have them on the inhale through their nose, accept. So we accept all these negative thoughts or whatever type of feelings they have. And then on the exhale through the mouth, we say the word surrender.
Yeah, I love that.
Accept, surrender. Or we use the word let. We immerse ourselves in these feelings. And on the exhale, we say go and let go.
I love that. Well, same
Over
thing,
and it's
different.
the same
Like
thing.
we're doing the same thing, and it's like I said before. It's like ice cream flavors. You pick the flavor that resonates the best with you and go with it.
There's many roads to Pittsburgh,
That's right.
Santina.
That's true.
But we get to Pittsburgh. What we're talking about is recovery, and everybody's in recovery from something.
From something, yeah.
But people hold on to these memories. We use a process called illumination and extinction. Okay, when you have this memory of some event in your life that's causing you some trauma, causing you a whole lot of pain, it's like going to a stage play, and you have this memory, and it illuminates. It's like bringing up the lights on a stage to make it really, really bright, and then we extinguish. It's like turning the lights off, and we do that over and over again. So what we do is a process called deconstruction. We don't try to change history or rewrite history,
Right.
but we deconstruct those memories so you're not part of them.
That's
So
right.
you can be an observer of them rather than a participant.
And
it's an emotional process.
Experience, yeah. I always, whenever I can tell when I'm healed from something, when it's neutral. When there's no emotional response to it, it's like just something that happened, like the light turned green, and so my car went. It's just mundane.
We just accept it.
Yeah.
That's like there's after every step in 12-step recovery, which is not about drugs or alcohol or gambling, it's about having a change in your thoughts and actions. There's a promise after every step, and after the 10th step, it says, by this time, sanity will have returned. We will cease fighting anyone or anything.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good step.
I will cease fighting anyone or anything. Like Dr. Chaudhry, he'd have this Zen type of attitude, and he said he got it when he was a boy, and he was with a relative, and a physician came in. One of the relatives was sick, and the physician came in and gave them some medicine, and the relative said to the physician, "Doctor, will this medicine work?" And he said, "Either it will or it will not." And that's how Dr. Chaudhry looked at life. Either it will or it won't.
That's right.
So most people spend a lot of time on the in-between.
Yeah. Yeah.
The what ifs and maybes.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you help people deal with uncertainty and the what ifs and the maybes?
Yeah. So, I mean, once again, like that's where I'm kind of focused on the now, right? The what ifs and the maybes and the woulda, shoulda, couldas, it's like they steal from your present moment. They steal you from now. And I don't know, I just feel like all we ever really have is right now, truly, but we also have, the connections to those other places, right? So like we're experiencing the now, but then we can also experience like other moments in time, other things, that we have connections to in the now. But it's recognizing that you're not living in the now when you're going to those places. And so, and that's a tricky place to be kind of present, but understanding I'm present, but I'm also present in that space now too.
Well, in the ninth step, part of the ninth step promise, it says, we do not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. No matter how far down the scale you have gone, we will see how your experience can benefit both you and others.
Yeah,
So all of your past it's the most powerful tool that you have.
it's true. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing too for joy is learning to listen, listening to others, listening to things that they've already experienced, that they've learned, and like really taking that in. Like I've learned so much from you tonight. And then also listening to ourselves. I think it's the stuff that we like you said earlier, asking, being honest and asking the questions of ourselves that we ask about others who we allow into our life. And then it's just witnessing, and I don't know, it's about honoring yourself. That's how you find joy. You honor yourself.
Unfortunately, most people listen to respond rather than listen to learn.
Yeah, you're right. So many people are like, they're thinking about the answer before the person has a chance to even express where they are.
And
And
that's listening to someone without offering criticism, advice, or suggestions.
yeah, well, it's not listening, really.
You're not listening, no.
You're just debating.
Oh, I'd like to remind you that we're going to continue our conversation next week on our next podcast with our delightful guest, Santina Grace. So stay tuned for that. And also this free prescription I know you've been waiting for. Fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait, a lifetime without definitive expectations. Please do a kindness for yourself, and please do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself, and please forgive another. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste, my friends.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.